America. America. America? Learn more in this video about America. But first, let's talk about the start. The start of their independence from the British people. USA declared independence in July 4, 1776 from the colonization of Britain. After a while, they decided to make a government in which gave birth to the three branches of government for America in 1787 from a meeting that would soon be known as the Constitutional Convention. These three branches of government were used by other countries today. Why? Well, because it's extremely useful. These three branches of the government are: first, the legislative branch or the United States Capitol. The legislative branch contains the two houses of Congress, the House of Representatives and the Senate. The House of Representatives are consisted of 435 representatives. They have a 3-year term in which they cannot have more than 3 consecutive terms. They are voted by the citizens of USA in their own representative state. The number of representatives per state are proportional to the population of the state. For example, when California has more population than Texas, then that means that California has more representatives than Texas. Senators, on the other hand, can only consist of 2 per state. And since America has 50 states, there are 100 senators. They have 6-year terms and can serve any number of terms. Here's a trivia for you. Strom Thurmond of South Carolina was elected 9 times and served 50 years. He was the most elected senator of America. Secondly, we have the executive branch, or the White House. This branch consists of the president and the vice president. The vice president and the president can only serve 2 terms. Each term consists of 4 years. The current vice president of the US is Kamala D. Harris, this woman right here. The current president of the US is this gentleman.
I'm going to be fine with your jokes, but I'm not sure about dark brandy.
Sorry about that, President Joe Biden. Didn't mean to make fun of you and all. The current president of the United States is Joe Biden, the one on the videos. Now, let's talk about the election process for the US for a bit, yeah? Shall we? While most countries uses popular voting for choosing their president and vice president, the US is it's quite different. It's really different, honestly. You see, they don't use popular voting. Well, they kinda do, but kind of not. They use what they call the electoral stage. The process uses power of both people and the power of the government. How? Well, let me explain it to you. There are 535 members of the Congress. However, there are different numbers of Congress members per state. Why? Simple. It's because of what I told you earlier, okay? It's because of the representatives. There are varying numbers of representatives per state because of the fact that the representatives are proportional to the population size of a state. Now, we call these Congress members in this process electoral votes. The state with the highest electoral votes are more or less the states with the highest population, okay? Now, the highest electoral votes are of course California with 55, Texas with 38, Florida with 29, and of course New York with another 29. Coincidentally, these states are also called the swing states, in which case they can swing the objective or the votes to another president, in which case they can use this to win. Why? Well, because they have electoral votes. You must be thinking right now, oh, so this means that the members of the Congress picks the president, yeah? You're wrong. You're dead wrong, okay? Think about it for a moment, because just like I said, this is also part of the population vote, or the citizens of the US also has an element that changes this process, okay? Now, they use popularity vote inside of the state, not in the whole country itself. Now, how does this work? Well, for example, okay, let's say that the US citizens in California has 1 million votes for Bob. 1 million votes for Bob. And then, for example, let's say that they have 1 million votes and 1 for me. 1,000,001 votes for me, okay? Now, can you guess what happens? I'm gonna wait for 3 seconds for you to guess what happens if Bob has 1 million votes and I have 1,000,001 votes. Now, it seems clearly that I'm gonna win, but how does that work? Okay, think for it for 3 seconds. I'll give you the time. Okay, now the right answer is, of course, I win. Now, how? Well, I win because I have more votes. Now, how does that work? Does that mean that I have 1 million votes now? No. It means that I have 55 electoral votes because there are 55 electoral votes in California. And does that mean that the 1 million for Bob doesn't necessarily make any difference for his votes? Well, yeah, it essentially means that his 1 million votes are now useless because I won the electoral vote for that state. Now, he has no 55 electoral votes in his hand and I do have the 55 for myself. Now, let's move on to the third branch of the government for the US, in which is the judicial branch, which includes the Supreme Court and the nation's federal and state courts. The members of the judicial branches are to be appointed by the president and confirmed by the state. And now let us explain how these three branches functions. Following will be a brief summary of the function of these three branches of the government of the US. The legislative branch introduces bills, okay? Now, bills are more or less ideas for new laws. After that, the executive branch can approve or deny the bill. In which case, if the executive branch approves the bill, he can just sign it and then it becomes what we call law. After that, the judiciary branch reviews the law to make sure that it's fair for the people, for the country, and of course for the government. And that's more or less just it. Okay, now thank you for watching. This is my introductory video for the US politics or the US political structure. Thank you for watching. Once again, this is Dean.